Valentine's Day, a lazy Sunday. Dinner's done, the sun is sinking, the kids are not long for bed.
It's a wee joke that Craig had. He kind of said, "Oh, you've got a bottle of wine in the fridge for Valentine's Day?" And I said, "Oh, no, I don't."
So instead of raising a glass with his wife, Craig Hickford pulls on bright red riding gear.
His cleats clumping out of the kitchen. "Bye, babe, see you later." And I was like, "Okay, see ya. Be safe." I always say be safe.
Craig has done this hundreds of times before. Fit, athletic, in training for his second Coast to Coast, he knows the roads around Dunedin. He's used to 40k rides.
It was about 8:30 and I thought, you're not home yet.
Across town, 29-year-old Harry MacArthur, a horse dentist, is finishing up work and has just had dinner at his auntie's.
My favourite, deviled sausages.
Cup of tea?
I think there might have been 2 cups of tea.
In his four-wheel drive ute, Harry is just 150 metres from the house where he is staying when, in a split second, his and many other lives are about to change.
I had no idea what was going to happen until it was all too late. So, seeing a cyclist disappear from in front of you.
Did you think he was going to die?
Yeah, I did.
I think I was in the shower for all of 5 minutes and in the middle of washing my hair, and I heard some quite loud bangs on the door, and I proceeded with my shower hoping that they would just go away. 30 seconds later, there was, yet again, loud bangs at the door. I wasn't expecting a policeman standing there, and that's exactly what I got.
What did he tell you?
The words are crystal clear, even to this day. Sorry. He said, I'm really sorry, but there's been a terrible accident. Craig's been hit by a 4x4 and it's not looking very good.
Craig, what do you remember about that day?
I don't remember anything.
I don't remember anything.
Craig and Stacey had been a couple for 14 years, drawn together by basketball. Craig playing for the Canterbury Rams and eventually becoming Stacey's high-performance coach. In 2005, with his help, she reached her dream of becoming a tall fern.
He just had the driving force. He always has. That's who he is. And if it's my goal or his goal, he'll just try and push along the way to get there.
Well, here he goes.
He's been devoted to their kids, Grace and Toby.
What's happened?
And to those at the schools where he's taught, eventually stepping up to become a principal.
There's a new person in charge at Brockville Primary School. Principal Craig Hickford has just started in the role.
I'm in particular looking to bring in some innovative teaching practice, getting the children to sort of really take ownership of their learning.
I try to build up all children to be confident and caring and independent.
I think he had an amazing career on his hands. I know that he was flagged up by the ministry as being someone quite special coming through the ranks.
Until one late summer evening in 2016, riding downhill on Main Street in the Dunedin suburb of Fairfield, Craig was hit by Harry MacArthur's turning ute.
Describe the impact.
Just a fairly solid bang just on the front of the truck.
Was he thrown up?
He was thrown, basically out of my vision, above the windscreen.
I remember hearing the bang, looking out my bedroom window at the front of the house and seeing Craig shooting through the air off his bike.
Mark Wolfe was one of many who rushed to help.
The bike landed about here when I came out, and Craig would have been about where you're standing now.
What shape is he in?
Oh, he was in a bad way, very bad way. He'd had a serious head knock, big time.
First thing I did was just jump out of the truck and race over towards the cyclist.
Harry, seen here on the left.
He was lying basically with his head at a funny angle to his body, just basically face down in the grass.
Ambulance officers worked on Craig on the verge for more than an hour, Constable Dave Leonard, in charge of the scene, stayed by his side.
Basically, I just held his hand and I talked to him.
What did you say to him?
I was just telling him that he was going to be okay and hang in there and, you know, you're going to be all right.
Do you think he hurt you?
I like to think he did, yeah.
Craig, in critical condition with a brain injury, was taken to Dunedin Hospital.
The whole emergency department came to a stop, basically. They all just went to Craig. I was the whole time just thinking, don't you dare leave me. Got 2 young kids. Don't you dare.
Unconscious, unresponsive and unable to breathe unassisted.
That's how Craig's condition was described to his parents, Gary and Lynn, far away in New Plymouth. They jumped in the car at midnight and started heading south.
And then we finally got to Craig and yeah, he was just hooked up to machines and tubes and it's devastating.
What impact did it have on you?
Oh, other than a heart attack, not much.
A heart attack?
Yeah, I had a heart attack on the Saturday morning.
Lynn, how did you cope?
I just had to keep going, didn't I?
While Gary recovered on the cardiac ward, Craig was 2 floors below in intensive care for 10 days on life support, doctors monitoring the swelling in his brain.
He's always in, danger of not making it through.
Stacey kept the kids away.
Dad lying unresponsive in a bed, and that's just frightening for a child to see, and I wasn't prepared for my children to see that.
4 weeks in, hope and fear.
When he was in HDU, I took a video of it. It was him sitting there, and he was doing all the actions of Craig, like all of his mannerisms, so I knew that he was there. He wasn't talking a lot that time, but he sort of opened his eyes, looked to me, just looked right through me. There was no acknowledgement there, and then looked away. And I just thought, wow, is this it? Like, is it going to get any better?
Up next, the horse dentist with a history of bad driving.
Where have you been in your darkest moments?
Sorry, just...
And Craig's long road to recovery, from rock bottom...
He was essentially a baby.
...to back up on a bike.
To be the person I was, or be an improved model of Craig.
Have you actually walked back here to where it happened?
No, I've been back here in a car, but I haven't had the chance to hop out of a car and have a good look.
This is Craig Hickford's story. The trouble is, he can't tell it.
Yeah, I don't have much of a memory of the accident or anything, really. The images I have are what I've been shown. And it definitely brings a few tears.
Almost everything from the past 14 months is erased from Craig's memory. The 5 months in hospital and rehab, the torturous process to regain strength and function.
He's had to learn to redo basically everything again. He was essentially a baby, adult diapers. It was hard to watch that.
The enduring injury, if I'm really honest, is what's been done up here to my brain. It just doesn't allow me to be Craig. It allows me to be just a fraction of what I was.
Good form, Craig. That's the way.
He has vision problems, he has balance problems. The ability to process things sometimes is not quite there. His temperament, the fact that he's not able to hold in his anger, he has daily struggles, but he has come such a long way.
Harry MacArthur returned to work a couple of weeks after the crash. A Christchurch-based horse dentist, he helps horses long in the tooth to eat without pain.
Good man,
He struggles to describe the effect of the crash on him in the following days. Holed up in his bedroom, not knowing if he'd killed someone.
Where have you been in your darkest moments?
probably some places that you wouldn't like to admit on camera, so. Sorry, just...
Harry still asks himself, could he have avoided the crash?
How could you not see the cyclist?
I've run through the situation that many times in my head as to how I could have seen him, or basically how I could have missed him.
He couldn't see where he was going, is how it happened.
Constable Dave Leonard was at the scene, interviewed Harry, investigated the crash.
He was travelling into the sun. The sun was up above those trees, and he wasn't able to see clearly before he made that turn.
What should he have done?
He should have pulled over to the side of the road, and then he would have had a better angle. He wouldn't have had the sun directly in his eyes.
So why wouldn't someone do that?
You'd have to ask him that.
I thought I could see enough of the road to be able to make that turn safely.
You've admitted it was your fault. Do you honestly hold that view?
Yep, like it's an accident. It's not something that I intentionally did, but it's my fault for turning in front of basically turning into oncoming traffic.
Charged with careless driving causing injury, Harry initially pleaded not guilty. But months later, on the eve of his trial, he changed his plea to guilty. In March, he stood in the dock for an hour, hearing the impact of his actions.
As a parent, it is a phone call you never want to get. To see our son lying in ICU in a coma and not knowing if he would live was devastating and extremely stressful. It disturbs us greatly that the driver of the ute hasn't asked once how Craig is. His actions could be considered contemptible.
The judge, noting 5 previous driving convictions, described Harry as cavalier, putting other people's lives at risk. He ordered Harry to pay $30,000 in reparation, to do 200 hours of community service, and disqualified him for 10 months.
I watched him throughout the hearing. I didn't see any remorse. I'm a principal by trade, so I sort of know when you've been naughty and know what you do, you know, how you act. So I didn't see any of that.
Can't really even begin to imagine what, you know, he's going through, so I've just never really known how to approach the subject.
What do you want to say to Craig?
Sorry. But it just doesn't seem like enough.
So many lives have been changed forever. Stacey, the former tall fern, is now the sole income earner.
Gracie, Rosie.
Juggling the household, working 2 days a week as a legal secretary.
Got to get in the car.
Craig continues to make small steps at rehab.
I'm challenged in so many ways to be the person I was or be an improved model of Craig.
Grace and Toby, after losing their dad for a year, are starting to get him back again.
Toby was holding a frisbee and I went outside and I just threw it softly to him and he caught it and I just thought, God, we haven't done that, have we?
Getting back some dad time.
Yeah.
You ready? Yeah. Oh, so close.
Stacey, Craig said earlier he's just a fraction of the man he was. Is that true?
I'd like to say no, but I think the reality is he's not the Craig that we're used to. I mean, there's elements of Craig there. There's his sense of humour, being just driven and stubborn and, you know, all those traits are there, but there's just so much of him that's quite different.
Last week, Craig was invited back to the Christchurch school where he once taught. Now reopened and renamed Waitakere since the earthquakes.
Thanks, guys.
It's his dream to return to a school like this one.
What do you have to add to it to equal 15?
I want to live life with children. I want to make a difference for children. I want to be a teacher. I was in hospital for, who can guess?
10 years.
10 years? Not 10 years.
He's always said he wants to return to being a principal, and I just say, well, never say never. You just don't know You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you'll be like in 3 or 4 years' time. You know, you've made great recovery so far in a year. You know, you can't count it out.
I'm driven for it not to rule my life. I think of it as a big monstrous challenge that I'm going to win.